It's week 11 in the NFL, and you know what that means. Time to make our picks. And hopefully this week we could go for the clean sweep and go for 3-0. Welcome to another episode of the J&J Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny, aka Jay Froner, along with my co-host, the always wonderful Mr. Joe Montecavo. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm great, Johnny. How are you?
I am fantastic. Now, before we get into our picks, Joe, let's let you recap for the viewers what happened last week.
Yeah, we both went 2-1 last week in our picks. You were pretty close to going 3-0. You probably should have gone 3-0. I mean, you had
Yeah,
the
the Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah.
They were up 14-0, then 24-9 at one point, and they just let that slip away. And yeah, unfortunate. The Browns covered that one.
Fortunate turn of events. Yeah.
So with that being said, I guess we'll get into our Week
Yeah,
11 picks
yeah,
here.
I'll let you go first.
All right, so let's hit the music and let's get this show on the road.
Let's do
So
it.
for my first pick, we're going to go to the Raiders and Dolphins game in Miami. The Raiders actually come in as the hot team here. They've won two in a row after firing Josh McDaniels. Now, again, you got to take those two wins with a grain of salt because they were against the Giants and Jets. The Dolphins, on the other hand, they're coming off a bye after a pretty bad loss to the Kansas City Chiefs in Germany. I'm going to side with the Miami Dolphins here at minus 13. I usually don't like taking spreads this high. I just know one thing is that the Dolphins love to beat up on bad teams, and the Raiders are exactly that, a bad team. The Dolphins are 4-0 at home this year. They've covered every game. They've won each game by at least 14 points. They've put over 500 yards of offense in each of those games. I just think the Dolphins are going to steamroll the Raiders here and win this one easy.
Do you think the Dolphins could put up 70 points again?
Very unlikely, but you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, the Raiders have been partying, lighting up cigarettes and cigars after wins. The Grand Prix is in Vegas this week, so maybe they were out at the strip clubs. Who knows what's going on there?
They're allowed to celebrate. They're allowed to celebrate a little bit. Just can get out of hand. All right. For my first pick, I'm going to be going to the Bills and Jets game. I mean, both teams are coming off a loss. The Jets, it was their second straight loss. And as for the Buffalo Bills, a little bit of an upset losing to Denver Broncos. I think between these two teams, I think we all remember what happened in week one when Aaron Rodgers went down. All those memes going around, and I'm sure Jets Nation was just, to say the least, just angry, right? Now, between the two teams, I believe this matchup will determine who misses or makes the playoffs. And with that being said, I'm going to be taking the Bills at -7. I think they could definitely get the win convincingly against the Jets. We'll see how it goes, but I'm gonna be taking the Bills at -7. Who do you got for your second?
So for my second pick, we're going to go to the Titans and Jaguars game, a division game here. The Jaguars are favored by minus 6.5. I'm going to be siding with them in this one. I think they're going to have a bounce back game. Going into the bye, they had won 5 in a row. They had covered all 5 of those games. And then we all know what happened last week. They just got absolutely destroyed by the 49ers. On the other side, the Titans, they haven't won a road game yet this year. They're 0-5. They haven't even put up more than 16 points in any of those road games. I just think there's going to be a bounce back game for the Jaguars, and I think they'll cover and win easy.
Okay. Next, for my pick, for my second pick, I'm going to be going to the 49ers and the Tampa game. Both teams coming off wins in week 10. Tampa Bay getting a convincing win against the Titans, sacking the quarterback 4 times, and for the first time, not letting their defense get picked apart. It definitely puts them back in the playoff race, so we'll see how this goes for them. As for the 49ers, I mean, last week, destroying the Jaguars 34-3, playing a nearly perfect game, I'd say. And Chase Young just showing how dominant the defense could be with him in the lineup. So with that being said, I'm going to be taking the 49ers at the spread of -11.5. Like your first pick, a big spread, but I think the 49ers could definitely get it done, for sure. Now for your third pick, your third and last pick, Joe, who do you got?
So for my third and last pick, we're going to the Sunday night game between the Vikings and the Denver Broncos in Denver. These are probably two of the hottest teams in the league coming into this game. The Vikings have won 5 in a row. The Broncos have won 3 in a row. Both teams have covered all those wins. So I mean, the Broncos
Okay.
were 0-6-1 against the spread before this 3-game winning streak, where they've covered all 3 games. And like I said, the Vikings have covered all 5 of their wins. Uh, I'm going with a gut feeling here, and I'm going to side with the Denver Broncos. They've come off wins against the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. This game is in Denver, big home field advantage. I don't know how good Josh Dobbs is going to be in this one. I mean, he's kind of overperformed, I think, the first couple of weeks. Are we going to see more of the Josh Dobbs that was in Arizona? That remains to be seen. In the last three, Russell Wilson's also been playing much better football. He's
Yeah.
thrown 6 touchdowns, hasn't thrown a pick. So I'm just going to go with the home team here and take the Denver Broncos to cover the 2.5 point spread.
Just before I get into my third pick, I mean, you mentioned quickly, I mean, Denver beating all the like, the top teams in NFL. I mean, what do you have to say about that? Do you know like what it is? Like, is it something with Wilson? Is it the team as a whole?
Well,
Does anyone have any answer for that?
I think the Broncos are underperforming to start the year. They
Okay.
that Dolphins game where they got killed. I mean, it looks like they completely gave up.
Okay.
Also, when they beat the Chiefs were apparently they were under the weather. Patrick Mahomes was sick. It was a division game, so usually sometimes those things go in
Yeah,
your
it
favor.
definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah. So
We'll see how they do this week.
we'll see. Yeah.
For my last pick, I'm going to be going to Detroit and Chicago. Lions, I mean, are clearly the better team, especially last week putting up 41 points, in a shootout win against the Chargers. As for the Bears, I mean, they've just been horrible right this year. In their last 5 games, they've only put up more than 70 points just once. And if they want to keep up with the Lions, they're going to need to be scoring a whole lot, which I don't see happening. Pretty much unlikely. I could also see the Lions, I mean, winning in double digits this week. So with that being said, I'm going to be taking Detroit at the spread at -7.5. So
yeah, Lions are probably going to be our survivor pick this week.
Yeah.
I think they're going to
it's clear
kill
and cut.
the Bears. Yeah. So I guess
Joe,
we'll just recap.
Yeah,
we'll just recap
exactly.
the picks.
Go ahead, sir.
Johnny has the Bills at -7. He has the 49ers to cover the 11.5 against Tampa, and Detroit Lions over the Bears to cover the 7.5.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to take the Dolphins to cover the 13, the Jags -6.5, and the Broncos -2.5. Now, usually when you take all these favorites, it's a recipe for disaster. We're hoping it's not the case. We're confident in our picks.
I mean, we both didn't. Both of us don't have an over either or under in this in our picks this week as well. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, hopefully we do better than last week. Until then, we thank everyone for watching. Let us know in the comments what you guys think is going to happen this week. And until then, have yourselves a swell evening.